Good morning, everybody. Welcome to MXGPTV.com. My name is Paul Malin, and you join us live from the circuit of Valkenswaard. Day 2 here, the MXGP of the Netherlands, the FIM Motocross World Championship. Up first today on our broadcast is WMX, the FIM Women's Motocross World Championship Race 2. Race 1 was yesterday around lunchtime, and it was Courtney Duncan on the bike at DRT Kawasaki that came home victorious over Amandine Verstappen, Larissa Papenmeier, Nancy van der Ven, the home favourite, came home 4th, and it was Shana van der Vlis and Sarah Anderson. Lynn Volk was 7th, Nikki van Wardragen was 8th, Megan Rutledge 9th, and Anne Borchers was 10th. A lot cooler than it was yesterday. Weather conditions yesterday around about 18 to 20. As you can see, look, about 10 degrees cooler. A little bit cloudier, and there is more of a breeze as well, so it does feel chilly out there. The girls have just come in from their sighting laps. It's more like a warm-up session that they have directly before the race. They're back in the waiting zone, and they're getting ready to tackle this circuit. All 1,870 meters of it for the second time this weekend. They have prepared the track overnight because yesterday, during the day, it was obviously a lot drier than usual, so more water has gone in. The sand should be a little heavier. They've left as many bumps in as possible. They've obviously fixed all of the jumps because by the end of MXGP qualifying race, everything was a little bit chewed up, to say the least. But the flags are flying high for Nancy van der Ven. Can she get a moto win here at the very least? They're expecting her to get on the podium, but as we've already said, the girls that finished ahead of her, Courtney Duncan, Amandine Verstappen, who the Yamaha rider under the watchful eye of Eric Sorby, former racer, of course, and Verstappen from Belgium riding the Yamaha, and Larissa Papenmeier on the MX Fonta Racing Synco Yamaha. They were just that little bit better. There were one or two little mistakes in there, but Larissa Papenmeier was fastest in time practice, and she will go to the line first. This was in yesterday's sessions, of course. Nancy van der Ven goes to the line second, Duncan third, Verstappen, Anderson, Megan Rutledge, Shana van der Vlis, Lynn Volk, Nikki van Wardragen and Lena Dam, Mathilde Martinez, Britt Jans Bacon, Anne Borchers, Mathilde Dennis, Sandra Keller, Brenda Wagmans, Talia Jade O'Hare on the Diga WMX Racing KTM of Australia, Justine Charroux, Amber Simons and Virginie Gamond. And there is your winner from race 1 yesterday, Courtney Duncan. New signing to bike at DRT Kawasaki, all came together right at the last minute. She's only been in Europe about, well, by the time she goes home early next week, it'll be around about 3 weeks. So first few days trying to adjust to jet lag and all that kind of thing. But there was the 85, Nancy van der Ven. A good start is going to be needed in this second race. The track a lot smoother than it was yesterday, but it's also a lot heavier. So with the undertones of the bumps that are already there, are we going to see the track cut out quite quickly? MX Fonta Racing Synco Yamaha's Larissa Papenmeier. She just lost out in somewhat of a photo finish yesterday with Amandine Verstappen. She thought she got it on the line, but where the beam is, there was, well, I tell you what, it was about 0.4 of a second, wasn't it? Not even. But Sarah Anderson, she made a good start yesterday. She came home in 5th, though, in 6th position behind Shana van der Vlis.
Race 2 for round 1 of the Women's.
There's Amandine Verstappen, the girl from Belgium. So she finished 2nd yesterday. And she looked very, very good as well. The gap between the first two eventually was about 6 seconds. So Courtney Duncan, Verstappen, Papenmeier, nothing in it between those two. Van der Ven, considerable margin back. She was in 4th at the, on the first lap and made a mistake. Duncan led and fell to 3rd on the second lap. The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the first time today then on Sunday on a very chilly afternoon here, or chilly morning here, I should say, in the Netherlands. Not as cold as it was last year where we had Baltic conditions, snow and sleet and frozen conditions. But a year later, it's completely different. The 5-second board goes up. We're getting ready to go racing. WMX race 2, 20 minutes plus 2 laps. Look over to the right-hand side, and the Kawasaki Duncan, about 6 gates in, comes out behind Larissa Papenmeier. So Papenmeier with a whole shot. Might be Verstappen in 3rd or 4th position as they hit the first jump. And you can see the ground choppy enough, but once again, same place as she did yesterday. Duncan goes and takes the lead, but this time on the inside over that single. Verstappen there in second position, 274. Papenmeier dropped to third, the 66 on the Kawasaki. Here's Megan Rutledge of Australia. She fell yesterday and hurt her shoulder, had a little bit of a tinkle in her arm, but Van der Ven around the outside, number 85 with the red helmet, dropping downhill now, moves back into fourth. Is she going to take third from Papenmeier at the bottom of the hill? Oh, the two riders almost come together as a wayward Nancy Van der Ven lighting up the back end. She had one of those in the race through the wave section on the opposite side of the track that she was lucky to get away with, but she was very lucky not to take her and Van der Ven out. Look at this. Wow. Van der Ven, fortunately, had already made the move. Duncan leads, Verstappen second, Van der Ven is in third. There's your top three on screen on this opening lap here, WMX race 2. Nicely prepped berms and jump takeoffs as they head around the circuit for the first official lap then. But it's Duncan who leads, Verstappen second, Nancy Van der Ven. She fell in this corner at this part of the race yesterday. Dropped down to about 12th, got back to 4th, but by then everybody else was long gone. Number 90 going through there just briefly, Sandra Keller. But the challenge for the lead here, Duncan leaving the door open, Verstappen charging down the inside on a wet part of the track. She goes for the jugular. Duncan read it well. She cut back to the inside and retakes the lead. So get him over the line then for the first time. Duncan it is who leads by not a lot, half a second. Verstappen, Van der Ven, Papenmeier, Rutledge, and there are your top five. Sarah Anderson is in 6th place. Lena Dam 7, Shauna van der Vlist 8th. 9th as they head down the start straight, Mathilde Dennis and Sandra Keller. Virginie Gamond and Borchers. Avery Berry is in 13th. Talia Jade O'Hare is 14th. Brenda Wagmans, Francesca Nacera, Britt Jans-Beacon, Mathilde Martinez and Amber Simons. They are your top 20 at the end of that opening lap. First official lap, though, will be next time around. So it's going to be a very fast racetrack for the girls here in race 2. Obviously prepped overnight. Fastest lap of the race yesterday went to Courtney Duncan, a 2:02.6 on lap 4. We'll get a lap time check this time around, but again, Van der Ven, she's aggressive down that hill, but nowhere to go at the bottom. She's got a nice tidy line through there, though, and it works again. 2 laps running. This time on Verstappen, but Verstappen will have the inside line in the next left-hander. The two Yamaha riders come perilously close at the top of the hill there. Spoke to Van der Ven's brother after the race yesterday. He said couldn't work out the difference between training all through the winter and racing here. He said her race was littered with mistakes, didn't ride good at all, so he's obviously had a good word with her last night, because she looks like she's up and ready for this one. But Duncan can't afford to leave the door open at the end of this straight, or any straight for that matter, because the 85 will charge through, and she will not show any remorse either if the two go down, or make contact at least. To the outside, that line is the favoured line at the moment, but there is a 274 of Verstappen. Duncan left the door open here at the end of the last lap, and Verstappen was through briefly, but Duncan still using that outside line on the run into that final turn. Everyone getting over that double. That's where the Kiwi was making good time yesterday in that first race. No one else really getting over it. First official lap then, a 2:04.1, 2:02.9 for Van der Ven. So eclipsing the time of Duncan on that opening lap. And she's come past Amandine Verstappen to go from third to second. And she's now got her sights on the championship leader after that first race yesterday, the 151 on that Kawasaki, Courtney Duncan. There is Larissa Papenmeier. She is in 4th position, around 3 seconds behind your race leader. So the first 4, you can throw a blanket over them, and there they are, look, opening up a big gap, though, back to Sarah Anderson, who is about 7 seconds further back. There she is, just over that city jump in the background. So the Dane in 5th, Lena Dam, her compatriot, in 6th place. Van der Vlist, Lynn Volk on the JK Yamaha, and Sandra Keller, Mathilde Dennis, and Virginie Gamond. They're top 10. There's Larissa Papenmeier. We saw previously at this part and into the next right how quick the number 85 of Nancy Van der Ven is and has been the last couple of laps. Just wondering whether she's managed to close the gap on the race leader. She's very smart through here and this part of the racetrack as well. There is Sarah Anderson. She's in 5th position on her KTM, riding number 325. Anderson finished 9th in the championship last year, a couple of 5th place finishes overall in Germany and Imola, the final round. And there's Lena Dam and Shana van der Vlis, the 188, the tiny little Dutch girl. Oh, and back working their way back through the wave section on the opposite side of the track. You've got your two race leaders separated by not a lot. Duncan has been caught by Van der Ven as they head into that bottom right-hander. There's Larissa Papenmeier, and here's Duncan and Van der Ven, and Verstappen going with them. So they've broken free from the German Larissa Papenmeier for now. Over the little scrub jump, back towards the line, second lap is in the books, a 2:03.3 for Duncan, 2:04.1, 2:04.0 for Van der Ven and Verstappen. 6/10 slower was Papenmeier. Steve Dixon up there in the skybox, keeping an eye on his new signing there, just on that right side or left as he's looking down the start straight. But Verstappen has had a very good round here this weekend. She's looking at second overall if she stays where she is. And certainly, even if she finds her way past the number 85 of Van der Ven, who was fourth in race one yesterday, of course. Lynn Volk in 8th position, just a bit further down. Sandra Keller in 9, Mathilde Dennis in 10, but Duncan just creeping away a little bit from Van der Ven, who has a hands full of the 274, Amandine Verstappen of Belgium. So 3 Yamahas, second, third and fourth here, led out by the number 85 of Nancy Van der Ven. She knew that she needed a good start. She's got one. But at the same time, she is wrestling with that 274 of Verstappen. The sand a lot, well, not a lot heavier, just heavier than it was yesterday. Some of the corners were like talcum powder yesterday. Right, heading down the back straight. See the lines just starting to appear on the takeoffs as they head down that back straight. Papenmeier is getting close again. She was quite close to the girls ahead of her yesterday in terms of the earlier on in the lap. She's obviously made up a little bit of time here. But it's Verstappen who's just lost ground. Well, and there you go. There's Van der Ven just looking over her shoulder saying, right, I've broken free from you. Now I can focus on chasing down the race leader, Courtney Duncan, who has a 1.8 second advantage over Nancy Van der Ven. So it's going to be game on from here for the next 12 minutes plus 2, I feel. But Duncan was, what, 0.4 of a second, 0.4 quicker than the Dutch girl that time around. That may change this time around because sections 3 and section 4, Van der Ven was the fastest girl on track in the race that time around, 36.1 and a 30.7. So she's definitely, the second half of the lap is where she's doing her homework and making up that time. So, and Papenmeier going the shortest route through. But it's also the roughest at the bottom of the hill there on the run-up to that Monster Energy step-up. Staying out of the braking bumps, taking a bit more of a diagonal swoop down the hill. Just looking at the sectors 1 and 2, 27.6 for your race leader, 27.7 for Van der Ven, 27.9. 27.96, so eking away by the odd 10th here and there. Courtney Duncan, but Verstappen now just starting to fall into the clutches of Larissa Papenmeier. Papenmeier probably needs to find a way past her to get herself on the podium because it's very tight between second, third and fourth. Verstappen 42, Van der Ven 40, Papenmeier 38. Starting to get in amongst the traffic. 1.8 the gap last time around. Van der Ven this is the quickest part of the racetrack. The second half of the track for her. There's Janina Lehmann. Obviously had a poor opening lap or so. She's the first of the girls to fall foul of the leaders, but Duncan, 2:03.1 last time around, her personal best. What is it this time around? Hits the line now, and it is a 2:04.2. Van der Ven, a 2:04.1. That gap 1.7, so not coming down enough, but she is still there, offering that threat to the Kawasaki rider. Here's Papenmeier. 6 seconds, six and a half seconds behind Duncan on that MX Fonta Synco Racing Yamaha. No Chiara Fontanesi if you're joining us for the first time today. Not been feeling well the last 18 months. She has ridden through some kind of blood disorder type of condition. No sign as to when she will be back, but obviously Papenmeier, her stablemate this year, flying the flag for the Italian team. Right, 3/10 pulled back in the first sector this time around for Van der Ven as she closes in on Duncan at the bottom of the hill. This part of the racetrack was horrible yesterday. Deep ruts all the way up, very, very tricky part of the racetrack. But and also down here, you can see how those holes are just starting to wave out now. It's off cambered through there as well. Front can go at any time, especially if you try to carve a new line a little bit tighter down the inside. Slight bobble there for Duncan. Doesn't get the run that she wants down the back straight. Van der Ven, that's probably where she's making the time, taking more of a wider sweep through that bottom turn. And she's now right on the rear wheel, and a momentary stall there for Duncan. Hit the back brake, didn't go forward. And Van der Ven looking to charge through at the end of the straight here. She's going to have to go to the inside, but slightly slower through there with that single mogul right to the inside there. Watch this, she goes to get on the gas, and then you just see the back brake, it was just locked up, just threw her off balance a little bit, Duncan. Lucky to maintain the lead. 1.7 becomes 1.6, so somewhere in the last couple of corners, the Kawasaki rider, Duncan, your race leader now, 5 laps complete, has just managed to find a little bit of breathing space. Maybe she realizes the threat is there. Pit boards out to the left. Her man Nick there, the Aussie, as a mechanic. And Rinus Van der Ven, the mechanic and brother of Nancy Van der Ven, always on the boards. Oh, a little bit off track there for the 151. Going back to the outside through that long sweep. There's Verstappen. She's got rid of Larissa Papenmeier again as they go by the back marker. Seven minutes plus 2 to go. Dropping downhill. Actually, I want to see the next bit along the bottom there, because Van der Ven is normally quite quick along the bottom section as they head back uphill. There's Verstappen. And there Papenmeier. 28.3, 27.9. So 4/10 at the first sector. 28.3, 27.3. So another chunk taken back. So we are going to see a challenge for the lead any moment now. And they're in amongst traffic again. Both riders go wide. Actually, that might have done Duncan a favour there, you know, because a lap before she went to the inside and lost time to Van der Ven. But now they're in amongst the traffic. It's going to be fingers and toes all crossed, because anything can happen when you start approaching these mobile chicanes. Working their way towards the end of lap 6. These are your two leaders, Courtney Duncan, Nancy Van der Ven. They had around about 6 seconds over Verstappen last time out. Papenmeier still 4th, Shana van der Vlis 5, Lena Dam, Lynn Volk, Nikki Van Wardragon, Mathilde Martinez, Megan Rutledge. They're your top 10. Sarah Anderson out, it would appear. But the gap less than a second now, 8/10 as they hit the line. 5.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Dutch circuit announcer doing his best to get the fans on side here. And when you're this close, you can hear the bike behind you. You are the first one to approach the back markers as well. They'll do their best to stay out of the way. Duncan will go to the outside here, surely, to get around the back markers as quickly as possible. But got to be careful not to leave the door wide open. But when you're approaching, you are the guinea pig in some way, shape or form. And I'll tell you what, Van der Ven, she saw traffic ahead of her. She chose to go the shorter route, but it hasn't cost her too much time. This will be interesting. Bottom of the hill, the next 2 rights before you come back up in the opposite direction. And Courtney gets held up there ever so slightly. Oh, there's the part of the track where Van der Ven is pretty quick And she gets a good run up the hill, but she just got bogged down on the right-hand side there. Bouncing her way through that top left into this tricky off-camber. And he's had a quick pull of the tail off there for your race leader, I think it was, just on one of the slowest parts of the racetrack before she dropped into that right-hand turn. Needs to go wide here, maintain that momentum. Back marker traffic ahead. The number 22, Vilda Marie Holt. Those braking bumps are just starting to perk up nicely now into that bottom corner. Decision time. Don't leave anything to chance. Although the race leader has got, she got the best run through the back markers that time around. Van der Ven splitting 2 back markers as she hits the biggest jump on the racetrack. Oh, I'll tell you what, Duncan was lucky there. The back marker just got a little bit offline and she had to correct mid-air. The body language just suggested that she was... Oh, Duncan! She goes down! She hits the takeoff on the jump. Not even sure what she did there, but the 151, Courtney Duncan, flies through the air, has a big, massive endo. She's now got the job of starting that Kawasaki. And Van der Ven, she is your new race leader, 2 seconds. Wow, do we have... Oh, that is a big crash there for Duncan. She tosses herself down the track. Fortunately, the final part of the landing there was in the soft stuff, but we have a new race leader, and it is Van der Ven. There was a 2-second gap there as well. I wonder if we have another shot of that closer on the backside on the takeoff, because unless she just bottomed out on the face of the jump, oh, she can't get it started. Look, Marshall can help her get the bike away from the track, but this has gone from bad to worse for Courtney Duncan. Just getting into neutral, keep a calm head and stay focused, but that is going to change the outcome of this Grand Prix here at round 1. And we might see a Dutch girl on the podium here. And it might be Van der Ven taking the overall. So we'll have to... oh, she's back up and running. So she's going to make her way onto the start straight any moment now, but she has lost a whole heap of time. And that is going to be costly points as well. She is a half a lap down on the race leader now, but where is she in real terms when everything recorrects itself? There is Larissa Papenmeier. I mean, half a lap in this field. They had a decent margin over the majority, so hopefully still somewhere inside the top 10 at least, but with a couple of minutes to go, not the ideal time to go down. Right, here's Papenmeier. She will now be promoted to, I would say, 3rd, because Verstappen over there on the takeoff. I don't know what. I mean, there must have been just a hole on the takeoff there, but... well, we'll have to see where the girls are now in a reshuffled top few positions, but it's Van der Ven who leads, 8 seconds clear of Verstappen. Larissa Papenmeier is 3rd. Verstappen will take 2 second-place finishes. She's going to take the overall if she stays where she is. Van der Ven will be 43 on 2nd, and depending on where Duncan hits the line, but I think it's going to be Papenmeier that's going to take the 3rd overall slot. We'll have to wait and see, because we've no idea where Duncan is at the moment. She's still yet to come over the line. So we've got Van der Ven, Verstappen, Papenmeier top 3. Van der Vliet 4, Lena Dam 5. Lindvall is in 6th place. 56 seconds down on the leader. Just keeping an eye on the riders as they click over the finish line. Van Wardragen is in 7th place. Megan Rutledge is 8th. Duncan goes through in 9th. And actually, that could have been a lot worse, because what is she behind? Well, there's Rutledge just ahead of her. So about 2 or 3 seconds behind the Aussie. She'll pick a point up there if she can find a way past the Aussie. Rutledge also riding through the pain barrier, of course, after her fall yesterday, landing on her right shoulder. So as it stands now, the podium, 44 Verstappen, 43 Van der Ven, 40 Papenmeier and 37, Duncan. So what's that? 7 points in it. So not the end of the world. But she was looking at a 1-1, potentially 1-2, and taking the red plate to Portugal the next round in about 6 weeks' time. But she already had a slight thumb niggle after her tip-off yesterday on the left hand.
Larissa Papenmeier, Courtney Duncan, big fourth, Verstappen the podium. Well, we're going to check that one at the moment. So Verstappen, if she keeps
so where are we looking at? Duncan, Rutledge, Van Warddragon, Lindvall. There's still the possibility to make the podium, but we'll have to wait and see how it pans out in the last couple of laps, depending on how battered and bruised she is as well, of course. But here's Amandine Verstappen. You're looking at the overall winner here, potentially, with 2 laps to go. She's won a race before. She's never taken an overall. So this will be a career first for Amandine Verstappen, I would imagine, because the winners over the past few years have been Fontanesi, Van der Ven, Papenmeier, Duncan, and even before that, Megan Rutledge. Second in Czech Republic in 2017, Amandine Verstappen. And here she is in amongst the traffic. Got a third in 2015. Right, there's Nancy Van der Ven. She can't do any more than she's doing right now. She's going to be picking up the 25 points in the next lap and a half, barring any little mishaps. Van Warddragon goes through in 7, Rutledge 8, Duncan still 9. A little bit quicker than the Aussie just ahead of her. The 85. My brother said yesterday was just riding, didn't ride very well yesterday. He said, even though she came home fourth, she woke up in the second half of the race. But the first part, he said, not good, not compared to how she trains normally and all of that. There's Frankie DeChera just getting lap there, the 1:16. She just in the points, yeah, just in 20th place. Yamaha mounted this year for Ceres 71 Racing. Well, that was their old team at Suzuki, actually, so I wonder if they've switched allegiance to blue. So Van der Ven then over the line, 10 laps in the books, 2:09 though, so the pace slowing considerably. Verstappen 10.5 seconds down. Here is Larissa Papenmeier, about another 5 seconds back. So if it stays like this, the podium will be Verstappen, Van der Ven and Papenmeier. Yamaha's 1, 2 and 3. And Verstappen will also hold the red plate for the first time ever as well. A lot of Yamaha brass here this weekend, of course, their headquarters just a couple hours from here in Amsterdam. Here is your virtual Grand Prix winner, Amandine Verstappen of Belgium. She cruises downhill for the final time. 3, 4 riders over the line at the moment. Van der Ven, Verstappen, Papenmeier and Van der Vlist. Lena Dam is in 5th. Lindvall is in 6th. The Dutch girl Nikki Van Warddragon should be next in 7th position on the 964 Yamaha. Right, here's Duncan. She's all over the back of Megan Rutledge. If she can make this pass here, then obviously that will pick up another point. But this was what happened a few moments ago. She did try to ride it out, but just landed right at the bottom of the downslope there. That snatched the handlebars out of her hand. Very lucky to get up and walk away and be back in the hunt. And here she is trying to pick off one valuable World Championship point if she can. That'll put her on 39 points, just 1 behind Papenmeier and only 5 off the World Championship lead. So has she got traffic ahead of her? Yes, she has. At the top of the hill, is that Lindvall? I'm not so sure, but here is your, well, tell you what, we're going to get to the finish line. The checkered flag goes out. Nancy Van der Ven wins, but here is Amandine Verstappen. She's going to take second in the race, but she's going to win here, the MXGP of the Netherlands, and she knows it as well. She goes 2-2. She takes the overall, and the Belgian will stand on the top step of the podium for the first time. She will take the championship lead for the first time. She will hold a red plate for the first time. Massive weekend for Amandine Verstappen. Massive crash for Courtney Duncan. They're the two tales of the weekend here and race day here on Sunday. But Van der Ven wins it by 8 seconds. That's going to be good enough for second overall. Duncan did find a way past Rutledge on the final lap. Just needs to bring it home now. That'll give her another valuable World Championship point. It was a backmarker, I think, at the top of the hill that they managed to find their way past. Because I think the gap to Lynn Volk was about 10 seconds going into the final lap between Lynn Volk and Megan Rutledge. Got no power in that right shoulder, the Bud Racing Kawasaki rider there, number 66, Megan Rutledge, but whoa, breathe a sigh of relief for this girl. Go single, single. Just the finish line, jump two, tackle, but it's Van der Ven who wins the race. Verstappen second, Papenmeier third. Fourth, Van der Vlis, fifth, Lena Dam, Lynn Volk, Duncan home in seventh, Rutledge 8, Van Wardragen 9, and Mathilde Martinez 10. And in a moment, we will go and grab a word with our overall winner, Amandine Verstappen. And we'll bring you that any moment now, but wow, lots of drama in that one. Anyway, here is Amandine Verstappen, your overall winner. She is with Lisa Leyland. Let's hear what the young little Belgian has to say. A weekend of firsts for the 274.
Amandine Verstappen, congratulations. 2 second place finishes in your first ever overall victory. You must be feeling pretty pleased right now.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Yesterday in the first race I took the whole shot and I finished second. And today the whole shot was bad, but I finished second. I'm very happy.
Great job, thank you.
Amandine Verstappen then your overall winner here this weekend. In what was a Yamaha 1-2-3. Van der Ven and Papenmeier coming home second and third, but a solid, consistent weekend. 2 second place finishes, enough to give her the 44 points to take the overall win. 2 solid starts as well, making the job just a little bit easier. There's Van der Ven winning the race, but it was Verstappen, your overall winner. And there is the championship leader's red plate, the first of the year. Official confirmation then of WMX Race 2. Nancy Van der Ven wins it, Amandine Verstappen second, Larissa Papenmeier third, Shana Van der Vlis, Lena Dam, Lynn Volk, Courtney Duncan, Megan Rutledge, the top 8, Nikki Van Wardragen and Mathilde Martinez, Virginie Gamond, Talia Jade O'Hare, Mathilde Dennis, Sandra Keller and Borchers, Avery Berry, Britt Jans Beacon, Justin Charoux, Brenda Wagmans and Amber Simons. There's Chiara Fontanesi, of course, Larissa Papenmeier riding for her MX Fonta Signco Racing squad. She brings it home third overall. Yamahas 1, 2 and 3, look, Amandine Verstappen, 44 points, Nancy Van der Ven and Larissa Papenmeier. Courtney Duncan coming home fourth, 39, so only 5 off the lead. Shana Van der Vlis fifth, Lynn Volk, Lena Dam and Megan Rutledge, your top 8. Nikki Van Wardragen and Virginie Gamond. Points on the board and a good weekend for O'Hare of Australia, coming home 13th. She'll be pleased with that, I would imagine. Talking to Megan Rutledge yesterday, she said at the moment that was just a one weekend deal. There's your manufacturer's chase, 47 points. But anyway, let's do the podium. And third overall this weekend. Riding from Germany on the 4-2-3 MX Fonta Racing Signco Yamaha, Larissa Papenmeier. So Larissa Papenmeier then finds her way to the third step of the podium. Visit to the box for the first time with a new team. Nancy Van der Ven. Difficult first race yesterday, much better one today. She'll take second. She'll know that when we go to Portugal, she's just 1 point off the lead. But Amandine Verstappen, the Belgian contingent, showing their appreciation for the effort she's put in today. And Verstappen stands on the top step of the podium for the first time ever in WMX. Some nice little trophies here as well in the colours of the national flag, but Larissa Papenmeier takes her third place trophy from Hans Verhoff, the MXGP former organiser of this event. In fact, he was going to stay to do all the trophies to all three girls. Nancy van der Ven holds that second place trophy high. But Amandine Verstappen takes the winner's trophy from Mr. Klaas van der Werf, also an MXGP former organiser, and the team trophy as well. But that will take pride of place. But the championship leader's red plate goes to Amandine Verstappen. For the first time, she holds that aloft. That's one of the advantages of winning the first round. Antonio Alia Portela, the FIM CMS director, completing the podium. All we have to do now is listen to the Belgian national anthem, and it will play proudly for Amandine Verstappen. Your top three overall this weekend: Amandine Verstappen, Nancy van der Ven, Larissa Papenmeier. We'll talk to the top three in a moment, but first, the WMX Race 2 highlights. Right, there's the podium. Here's the highlights. Here's what happened. WMX Race 2 over on the right-hand side. Courtney Duncan just getting cut there by the 423 of Larissa Papenmeier. She took the whole shot. Just behind him in third was Amandine Verstappen, and Megan Rutledge well placed there in fourth place, and Nancy van der Ven. They were your top five as they hit the first jump. Sarah Anderson was also in there, and so too Lena Damp. But before they hit the next series of waves, it was Duncan who led the way on the Kawasaki. Verstappen was right there in second, Papenmeier third, as van der Ven went around the outside of Rutledge at the top of the hill, and van der Ven almost lucky that she didn't get caught there by Papenmeier's Yamaha as it swung from one side of the track to the other. Van der Ven eased past Verstappen to get into second. Larissa Papenmeier gave chase in fourth. All eyes on the battle for first and second, though. One or two little bobbles for Duncan as she got caught by the number 85 as they battled over the lead. But then a huge, big crash for Duncan. She was on course for taking a 1-1, potentially 1-2, and take the overall victory. But that then handed the advantage to the 274 of Amandine Verstappen. She was second in race 1. She was now second in race 2. Van der Ven, fourth in race 1, and lead in race 2 would only be good enough for second overall if she stayed there. She did. She won the race from Verstappen and Papenmeier. But there's your top three: Amandine Verstappen, Nancy van der Ven, and Larissa Papenmeier. Next round, Portugal, in 6 weeks' time.
Amandine Verstappen, congratulations. 2 second-place finishes, a very solid, a very consistent weekend, and more importantly, you're holding that red plate for the very first time.
Yeah, I'm very happy I have the red plate. Yeah, I finished second in the races. I was confident on my bike. I switched for Yamaha. Last year I was with KTM, and I'm very, very happy to be on Yamaha. I like the bike.
Congratulations, thank you. Second overall today, we have Nancy van der Ven. Nancy, 2 different races for you. In that first race, you were playing catch-up most of the time. That second race, you're right where you needed to be when Courtney made a mistake, and of course, you're on podium in front of your home fans.
Yes, I'm happy to be on the podium anyway, but it's a little bit bittersweet to not win the overall on 1 point. But yeah, that's by myself because I made some stupid mistakes yesterday. And because of the pressure, I think it was that I couldn't find my rhythm and ride like I used to. And today, yeah, I was fourth yesterday, so I was just go for it today. And I showed that my riding was way better than yesterday. And I could put the pressure on Courtney, and yeah, she made a mistake, so I could pass her and win the second moto. So yeah, overall, anyway, it's good.
Congratulations, thank you. Third overall today we have Larissa Papenmeier. Larissa, 2 great starts for you and a podium with a new team, new bike. You must be pretty pleased for the first round.
Yeah, for sure. It was a decent start. I mean, third overall is good for the first race. Just to get some points, stay on the bike, it's always good. Didn't really find my rhythm in the second moto, but yeah, we have some couple of weeks to work on now and yeah, to test the bike a bit more. And I'm really happy with the support of MX Honda Racing Yamaha and Yamaha Europe, and I really want to thank them. Thank you very much.
Great job, thanks Larissa.
So your top 3 here this weekend then. Nancy van der Ven couldn't quite pull off a home win, but third overall, Larissa Papenmeier on the MX Honda Racing Synco Yamaha. Good, solid points to take into Portugal. Second overall, well, we heard from her just a moment ago, Nancy van der Ven. Fourth yesterday, that was a problem for her, but she rode without the pressure today. Got the race win, gives her second overall. Misses out, though, by 1 point to the number 274. Of Amandine Verstappen. What a performance she put in this weekend. 2 solid rides, 2 second place finishes. And she holds the championship leader's red plate as we head to round 2 in about 6 weeks' time. Of course, we have Italy for MX2 and MXGP, then about 3 or 4 week break. We go back to Italy for Mantova, and then we have the women's second round in Portugal. But that's it for the women. We'll see these girls back at Portugal, round 2. Right, that's us done. Join us in about an hour's time. We're back on air at 11:25 for EMX 125 Race 2. We'll see you then.